Hello and welcome to your reading, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising. This is a full moon reading in Gemini. We are currently experiencing a super full moon in Gemini, also called the cold moon. It is the second largest full moon, super moon this year after the beaver moon in November. And the immediate energy I was getting, Virgo, was I laid out everything perfectly, and then I made one bad step. I mean, here, I laid out everything perfectly on my desk, and then I moved my hand in the wrong way just once, and everything came crumbling down. So you might be reflecting on your foundations being shaken up this year. The Gemini full moon is all about communication, with Gemini ruled by Mercury. And the Gemini full moon asks you what narratives you've been living by, what realities have governed your life up until now. And excuse me, Virgo, what I'm hearing, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mars, is that you've been working on, or the past 6 to 12 months have been really passionate for you. So you might have been working on a project. You might have experienced a lot of not negative emotions, but just a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of impatience is what I'm hearing. And you've come up with a lot of different new ideas though. So your mind has been running 100 miles an hour, or like faster, whatever metric system you go by, I guess. Here where I'm from, we would say 100 kilometers per hour, which is not really that fast if you have the Autobahn close to you, but I digress. You've been going really quickly. You've been in your heart space. You've been emotionally balanced. So I'm hearing that your heart and your mind have been balanced, 0 to 0, 0 2 to 0, as well as 2 to 2 on the timer while I'm saying this. Sorry for that. You've been following not just your what spirit guides you to do, what your own spirit guides you to do, your higher self, but you've been following your heart as well. You might have moved. So I see with the 6 of Swords here, there is a theme of transition for the past 6 to 12 months. And with the 2 of Cups coming out in the reverse, as well as the 10 of Cups coming out in a reverse, I'm sensing that you might have broken up with someone. So you might have said goodbye to romantic or platonic, or any other circumstances, situations that did not serve you anymore. You might have, they made you feel left out in the cold. This stands for financial poverty, or in the reverse, it comes out as recovery from financial poverty. But I also take this as, even if your money is going up, your mind is still in the gutter, not in a sexual way, but like literally you are feeling depressed. So the relationships you said goodbye to, the situations you said goodbye to, that you removed yourself by following your heart space, Virgo, they might have made you feel like you are by yourself. They might have made you feel more lonely being around these people than exactly being by yourself. You have the 10 of Wands in the reverse coming out. So you felt like you were kind of carrying the burden when it comes to your emotional endeavors, emotional relationships. It wasn't fulfilling to you at all. We have the 4 of Wands coming out in the reverse as the bottom deck energy. So while you had to say goodbye to a lot of hopeful relationships or situations, circumstances, like you had a lot of hope for a relationship, for example, or you've had a lot of hope for a job you found yourself in, but they just didn't give back to you what you put in terms of energy, and you had to pull yourself back from these situations and gain back your energy because it just wasn't being reciprocated. And you've been reflecting on that. So the theme, I mean, you are one of the mutable signs. There's a big theme of communication going on here in my eyes, the way you communicate with others, what you tolerate and what you don't tolerate. So you as a mutable sign, just like Gemini, Sagittarius, and Pisces, are especially influenced by the current full moon in Gemini. So these themes of communication, these themes of the different realities that we live by, the narratives that govern our lives, it's really, you've been really reflecting on that. You've culminated a lot of knowledge when it comes to these themes. You now know what it takes to build a proper foundation to reach this state of true love within yourself as well as without yourself, like with others. So we have the two oracle cards, sturdy as well as true love, coming out. A strong foundation is the key to success. Are you feeling uncertain about something? Focus on building a solid base in whatever you're working on. It will provide long-term stability. The image of the bridge here is really speaking to me. If you think of the body, of the structure of a bridge, it takes two pillars at each end for the bridge to hold up. So two pillars bridge the gap, but one pillar, 555 on the timer while I'm saying this, one pillar cannot hold up the weight it takes for a bridge to be able to be crossoverable, you know? So there has to be reciprocal energy on both ends for the gap to be bridged. And if you are the only one holding up the end of the bargain when it comes to emotional endeavors, jobs, like if you hold someone the door open, you at least appreciate if they said thank you or acknowledge you with a nod or a smile, you know. So it takes two to tango, like that, basically. Without someone else to reciprocate the energy you put into a situation, a relationship, the bridge will not hold up. The foundation will not be sturdy. And that is not true love. That is being used. You felt like you were being used, Virgo, and you've moved away from that. So I'll read this card for you. True love is a deep soul connection. Are you searching for it? Trust that it's out there. But remember to love yourself first. True love will follow naturally. This followed by the honor card, which is what I'm guessing tells you to honor yourself, your boundaries, your own truth and inner light, is a big indicator for me, Virgo, that you other way around. You chose to choose yourself this year. You are reflecting on the loyalty you have cultivated between you and your higher self, between you and your lower self, you've been really lenient and patient with your own needs, with your own ego-based emotions and desires, and you've been really understanding, almost a little bit like a parent or a therapist to yourself. You know, you've honored yourself. You've developed a huge respect for yourself, Virgo. So I'll read that card for you before we move on. I'll pull one more and then we move on to the next deck. Respect for yourself and others is key to your growth. Have you felt a lack of respect in some areas of your life? You have. By setting clear boundaries and honoring yourself, the world will follow suit. I've been saying this in a lot of past readings, Virgo, but once you show people how, like, the way you treat yourself will always reflect outward. So if you respect yourself, people won't get any ideas of disrespecting you because you are not emitting that kind of frequency. You will always receive the energy back that you are emitting outward when it comes to self-love, self-respect, self-confidence, you know. Even, I don't know if you noticed that, but if you are the first person in a room to raise your hand and kind of oppose to something, like to an authority, everyone else will follow suit. But someone has to take the first step and emit that energy, like rebellion or confidence or love, for other people to hear that frequency. And I think you have really worked on that. Exactly. We have sacred union coming out as well as gratitude. So reaching these milestones within, it might have been really hard for you up until now to say no to situations that do not serve you, Virgo, and you have completely worked through that. And that is something you should be proud of. A lot of people just go with the flow, not in a good way. They just let the current take them wherever when it comes to relationships, and they get hurt on their journey a lot, sometimes beyond repair. And you know which situations will trigger you in just the right way now that you have put up boundaries for the first time, is what I'm hearing. So I'll read these two cards for you before we pull more. gratitude brings more joy and abundance. Have you been overlooking the good in your life? Take a moment to appreciate what you have. This mindset will attract even more positivity. Exactly. Like attracts like. Sacred union. Two powerful forces are uniting, whether in a relationship or within yourself. This union brings energy and growth. Embrace this connection. It will lead to deeper understanding and transformation. This sacred union card, which is also my soulmate card, has been coming out in almost every reading, which is really aligned with the theme of the full moon in Gemini. If you look back on the intentions you set during the new moon in Gemini 6 months ago, how have these intentions come to fruition is what I'm hearing, Virgo. And how have these themes of duality, of shadow and light, as well as expansion and reduction, yin and yang, night and day, how have they influenced the way you communicate with yourself, what narratives you live by, how you talk to others, what kind of boundaries you put up, you know? And it seems like you have found a union within yourself as well, Virgo. So this is a really important thing, I think, when we move forward to the next, like, while we move forward within the next few months into 2026, which is the year of completion. So we have the world energy next year. For you to find balance between your yin and yang energy, your divine masculine and divine feminine energy within, is a really huge step in the right direction when it comes to completion, which is the theme of next year. So you are doing everything right. You have stripped illusions. We have stripping illusions coming out here. So you see through the bullshit. You might still be a novice at it. We have the Page of Swords energy coming here, but you are developing discernment. You will turn into the Queen, and then the King of Swords is what I'm hearing. People will not even try you. You won't be put into situations where you didn't have to put up these boundaries, because your energy will automatically signal that to most people. It will, again, teach them how to treat you. So let me get one more clarifier. Thank you so much. Exactly. To finish this. Oh, wow. 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 I had to take a breath for this because we have the two duality cards coming out here. Just like I said, you have brought balance to the light and dark aspects within yourself. We have letting go and perception. So you have let go of illusions. You have changed your perception on how you want to be treated, how people treat you, how you treat other people, the proper flow of give and take, the proper boundaries to uphold when it comes to how you want your heart to be treated, how you want to feel is what I'm hearing. How do you want to feel when there are certain people around you? Do you want to feel good or do you want to feel bad? And you have made conscious choices the past 6 to 12 months that have led to a better situation for yourself, that have led to a sense of wholeness within, which is really valuable. So that is really beautiful, Virgo. Let's move on to the last oracle deck before I close out your reading. Let's get some cards immediately. So there was a bit of a scattered energy in the beginning. So you put everything, I put out everything nicely, and then I did one wrong thing and everything came crumbling down. So this might have not even been, this might have been something happening subconsciously. So you might have been calling in situations where you are triggered to finally cut the cord with someone. And like I'm hearing someone went crazy and screamed at another person that was treating them bad. And it was not your intention for this relationship or for this situationship. That came out without my intention. So that could be a message for someone. You might have been in a situationship and you were craving commitment and they just didn't give it to you. And instead of staying in that predicament of a situation, in my opinion, because what's a situationship anyway? What the hell? I'm from a different time, I guess. Whatever. Instead of staying in that predicament of a situation, you decided to leave, go away. So let me read all these cards for you. These are the last cards for your reading, Virgo. We have divine light, vitality, harmony, and gratitude coming out. I am an expression of love, and I shine like the sun. My inner light is my strength and my treasure. My intuition guides me to discover the wonder and goodness of who I am. Vitality. I am a being of light. So we have light coming out here a lot. You are an expression of love and you are a being of light. I accept the divine energy in my body and every one of my cells regenerates. We have harmony coming out. This is really strongly coming out for me. This is the strongest card as well. Excuse me. The light shines brightest here as well. And these colors are really popping. They're coming out to me, as well as gratitude. It fits the most. I open myself to the divine being within me. I am the image of God. Thus, I have the power to bring light into my life. I turn any darkness in me into something beautiful. In the absence of resentment, anger, or doubt, I find harmony. Yeah. I am aware of the light in my life. I direct my thoughts to the beauty in and around me. I give thanks to God for every little thing that brings me joy. Thus, I enlighten my thoughts. Riches surround me, and I appreciate all that life brings me. So you, Virgo, as the Hermit, you know, you represent the Hermit card. You have found your light within. I mean, I don't mean to minimize your pain, because I do sense you went through a lot of pain. But what I'm hearing is that you already grieved the end of this situation before it even occurred. So you went through this really analytically. You've gotten through this really mature. We did have the Page of Swords coming out here, but I'm already sensing the coming energy that is the consequence of your actions the past 6 to 12 months. So reflect on what brought you here and it's like do a review of the behavior that made it possible for you to reach your inner light, because this is not something that everyone achieves, you know. Most people are really, that's what I meant earlier when I said most people just swim with the current. Most people are really dependent on guidance by being in relationships that don't serve them. It makes them feel better than being alone. Some people, if they respected themselves, they wouldn't have any friends. And you really respect yourself. So you might have lost a lot of superficial relationships this year, but you did everything right. You have to be grateful for these skills, these mind skills, these psychological skills, these spiritual skills you've developed over the past 6 to 12 months. Reflect on how you want to move forward here from now on, how you want to better the relationship to yourself and others, because you might have a little bit of distrust now when it comes to other people. You might not trust people to hold up their end of the bargain, you know, hold up their end of the bridge. You are trying to yeah, bridge, but you want to bridge the gap, Jesus. Bridge the gap, right, with someone. It takes two for you to hold up such a heavy thing, for people to walk over it, cars to drive over it. It takes a lot of work from both ends. So it might take a lot for you to trust people to be able to have that much strength to actually be in a relationship with you, whether it's platonic or romantic. But yeah, keep focusing on your own inner light. Keep focusing on the positive in your life. Don't have distrust as your first reaction, Virgo. And other than that, I hope you keep reflecting during this time, and I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you did, please leave a like or a subscribe, and I'll see you in your next reading. Goodbye.